Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide-and-seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
I would like to ask a few questions first. What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
Ich weiß es ja schon, aber...
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Jo. Jetzt hier noch Sachen, die ich mir snacken. Ja. Schwester, kann ich mit der reden?
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised. But I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Warum gibt sie mir so das Side-Eye?
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
Gut, also eine Kugel ist auch schon ziemlich tödlich.
An invisible enemy. Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett's. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Good to know.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Muss ich nochmal irgendwas über die herausfinden. Okay.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Aber wenn das alles Hinweise benötigt, warum wird das dann noch angezeigt? Ja schon, I guess. Oh. Strom, nice. Geht's ins Krankenhaus? Husten Sie nicht in der Öffentlichkeit. Verhindern Sie Ansteckungen. Unbedachtes Spucken, Schneuzen und Husten verbreitet die Grippe. Sie verbreitet sich durch Tröpfchen aus Nase und Rachen. Husten Sie nicht in der Öffentlichkeit. Guter Hinweis und besonders nicht in die Faust. Wenn dann in Ellenbogen. Danke, danke. Krankenhaus ist voll. Wegen der Grippe nimmt dieses Krankenhaus keine weiteren Patienten auf. Das Krankenhaus ist voll. Bitte kehren Sie wieder heim. Ja, das kennen wir ja leider auch. Ja gut. Jo, okay. Da hinten geht's auch weiter. Oh, nee, ich muss erstmal ins Krankenhaus, glaube ich. Gehe aber vorne lang. Sonst habe ich keine Ahnung, wie ich meinen Raum finden soll. Da ist er. Hallo.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Ah, nice. I guess. Ja, da brauchen wir Hinweise. Jo. Okay. Lau.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
Naja, ich komme gerade aus dem Krieg, also.
It's not exactly the best situation in London either. I can't have expected this hospital to be prepared for what was to come.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Also er will auch nicht reden.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Oh Gott. Ja. Das Jahrhundert.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Wir haben ja gerade einen Hinweis gekriegt. Echt? Oh Mann. Ja, dann suchen wir mal das Blaue.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
Ich hoffe mal, das war gut. Okay. Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Da hinten ist noch wer, aber... Da ist noch eine Schwester.
Another night with the glorious battalion of Pembroke.
Erstmal mit dem Schnappen.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Okay. Also mit der Introduction gehe ich einfach mal davon aus, das ist die Person, über die sich die Leute nicht beschweren wollen. Wir melden hier.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
Man, er hat recht.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I'll bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Jo. Ach, Basti.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Okay.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
Schwierig, Digi, schwierig. Habe ich irgendwelche? Nee, keine Hinweise.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Ja, mal gucken. Aha, ich weiß nicht, was habe. Ich habe keine Schrotpatronen, das ist natürlich schlecht. Ich weiß nicht, was ich davon verkaufen möchte, das Ding. Ich habe halt keine Ahnung, wofür ich irgendwas davon brauche. Ich kaufe mal ein paar davon. Ich weiß nicht, was kaufen mehrfach heißt. Ich will nicht den ganzen Stack kaufen, ist das Ding. Das sollte erstmal reichen, glaube ich. Jo. Hier noch irgendwas, was man sich snacken könnte? Ach du Heilige. Nee. So, da ist der Herr Doktor. Hier ist
I
nichts
thought
mehr.
last summer's epidemic was difficult.
Kleines Fläschchen.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Okay. Hallo?
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Somehow I doubt that.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
Leichenhalle könnte auch nochmal interessant werden.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Ganz ehrlich, wenn die Vampirjäger herkommen, ich glaube, die werfe ich... die nette Dame hier werfe ich einfach davor.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal. What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Auf Wiedersehen.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
So nett. Ja. Hier überall auf den Fluren, ne? Ich bin sehr glücklich, dass ich das nicht in der Corona-Zeit gespielt habe. Das hätte mich nur depressiv gemacht. Hallo.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Also. Nee, ich kenne dich schon.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Die habe ich nie erkannt. Wer ist der denn?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Okay.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Ja, das wäre schon praktisch.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Strickland und Vampyr. Nee, ich glaube, die kenne ich noch nicht.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it.
True.
I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Warum? Also, die Leute wissen alle schon, dass wir hier arbeiten. Die haben schon eine Tür vorbereitet mit meinem Namen drauf. Wir haben vor 5 Minuten zugesagt, dass wir hier anfangen. Irgendwas... Also, Swansea war sich sehr sicher. Ja, gut. Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Good evening, sir.
Brief. Unvollendeter Brief. Pembroke Hospital, 2. November. Meine lieben Kinder, es tut mir leid, dass ich euch bisher nicht geschrieben habe. Aber es schmerzt höllisch. Allein diese paar verflixten Wörter zu Papier zu bringen. Das war ein Komma, kein Punkt. Okay. Macht euch keine Sorgen. Daddy kommt aus dem Krankenhaus, sobald die Ärzte seinen Arm heil gemacht haben. Wenn ihr bis dahin etwas braucht, geht zu Mr. Chadwick auf der Baustelle und sagt ihm, dass ihr Harvey Fiddicks Kinder seid. Erinnert ihr euch an Robert Chadwick, der große Mann mit dem Schnurrbart, der mir letzten Frühling half, die Haustür zu reparieren? Geht zu ihm und bittet ihn um ein paar Schillinge. Er wird euch sicherlich helfen. Leider kann ich gerade nicht arbeiten. Aber wir lassen uns etwas einfallen, wenn ich zurück bin. Oh Gott. Keine Angst, wenn Daddys Arm wieder bei Kräften ist, Wird alles gut. Wenn die Ärzte endlich meinen Arm geheilt haben, werde ich... Das zu Ende. Warum liegt das auf dem Tisch? Hey, gestern ist kein Platz mehr gewesen.